Mark Sarazano here from the International Piano Technician School. This is probably the #1 complaint or struggle that piano owners have. They say, what can I do to fix my piano tuning in between when the piano tuner comes? So for example, you get a note like this and you're like, can't I just fix this until the piano tuner comes? There's two things you can do, and I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful things you can do that costs almost nothing and requires almost no skill. But when people come to me, they come to me with the question of, how can I learn to tune this unison so that it's clean until the piano tuner comes and tunes the rest of the piano? And not realizing that this is probably the #1 most difficult challenge there is. To tune a unison so that it's clean. Piano technicians, professional piano technicians, many of them struggle with this. They cannot get the unisons clean enough for concert tuning, and they can't get them to stay in tune. People don't understand that when they come and ask me this, they think it's a simple question. This must be easy. It's not. It's extremely, extremely difficult. For example, just trying to get this thing to sound clean in the first place, this is probably as good as you're going to be able to get as a beginner. Now, the secret to being able to tell if that's clean enough is to do what we call the single string test. And that goes like this. You play the unison, and then you mute it off so that there's only a single string, and then play it. And then you ask yourself this simple question. Is there a difference? So is there a difference between this and this? And if you say yes, any difference at all, even the smallest, tiniest difference, if there is one, between this and this unison is not clean. Because a unison should sound like a single string, and there's 3 strings per note here. It should sound like a single string. So this is the first challenge. Incredibly difficult to be able to tell what a clean unison really is. So that's after 30 years of tuning. I've got my unison and my single string. No difference. That's the first challenge. And then the other challenge is this challenge right here. Getting it to sound clean like that, but then when you play a loud song, it goes out. That's stability. So there's 2 major challenges that all professional piano tuners are struggling with basically for their whole career. I still struggle with stability and getting clean unisons. So when someone comes to me and says, I just want to clean up my unisons between piano tuners, they don't realize that this is an incredibly difficult and challenging, it's not a simple answer. However, I am going to give you the simplest, cheapest, least challenging way to fix this problem. So let's say the tuner tunes the note, and then like a month later, now it sounds like this. And that can happen a lot because, like I said, professional piano tuners struggle with stability, and this is like the most common thing. Sometimes it happens the first time you play the song. The first time you play it, you got a bunch of notes that sound like this. This is because the tuner's struggling with stability, and we all struggle with it. But let's say it's about a month later. It sounds like this, and your piano tuner's coming in another 5 months. So what do? This is what you do. You take one of these things, which are about $1.50. I'll put a link in the description where to buy it. You take this thing and just go through and you mute. Let's put the mute on the 3rd string. It's still sounding like that. Okay, let's put the mute on the 1st string. Problem fixed. Now you just leave that mute in there, right? You just leave it in there. You can't tell, it doesn't sound any different because one string is muted off. And you leave it there until the piano tuner comes. That's it. It takes no skill. If it's the center string, you just put another mute in, like, one on one side and one on the other. And now you just have the center string that's playing, even though it might not be the right pitch. Like, the amount of skill to do this is like zero, almost zero. And the cost is almost zero. So this is definitely the best way to do it. And a lot of people come to me and they say, I just have a unison that's a little bit out. I don't want to learn how to tune a piano. I'm not a mechanic. I just want to drive the car. But you don't realize what you're asking is huge. And if you don't want to tune the piano, you don't want to learn anything about tuning, this is the solution. It's perfect. However, if you do want to learn a little bit about tuning the piano, I'm going to put a link to buying one mute, and I'll also put a link to a course that I have. I'll make a special bundle course for people who just want to learn how to tune clean unisons and have them stay in tune. So it'll be my How to Get Superior Unisons course and How to Get Superior Stability course, and it'll be a discount for that. So look for that in the description. So there you go. A simple, easy, inexpensive way to fix bad unisons on your piano until the piano tuner comes and does a professional tuning.